Welcome to what I'm calling an audio only video, which means get on with whatever you're doing. Get on with doing your makeup, get on with doing the washing up, get on with doing your cooking, and you can just have this video on in the background. There's nothing to see here. You don't need to watch me. I'm literally just gonna be sitting here drinking a cup of coffee whilst I do a Q&A, chat to you guys, answer some questions that you asked in a previous video. Bit like a podcast, but it's not a podcast because no one other than you guys are going to be interested in what I'm saying. So this is definitely not a podcast. But I like the idea of every now and again just doing these kind of like audio videos where you don't need to be watching. So you're not going to miss out on anything visually. Put your phone to the side, turn up the volume, and I'm just going to go through and answer some questions that you guys asked in a previous video. Nothing new. I'm sure I will be repeating myself. I just need another sip of this coffee because I'm so tired today. We've started this like new routine where Rich goes for an early morning swim a couple of days a week. We've realized that mentally it really helps Rich to do certain things for himself, and suggested swimming because he used to do triathlons and stuff and really enjoy it. So anyway, he goes swimming a couple of mornings a week really early, which means that this morning was my early morning shift, and I don't normally coincide my mornings with my filming days because I need to be in like a really good mood to film. Really need some caffeine. Loving your content at the moment, Lily. Thank you. I've noticed recently quite a lot of influencers. By the way, I've not planned for this. I just think it makes for a better Q&A if I just go with it. I've noticed recently quite a lot of influencers have had Botox. Do you feel pressure being online to conform or look a certain way? I completely get that it's personal choice, but it can make me feel that growing old gracefully isn't normal. I'd be really interested in how you feel or deal with this. Well, I guess like social media is the new magazines, right? We used to look at magazines and they'd be wearing lash inserts on a mascara ad, or like all the models would be really long and thin and glossy skin, and I guess we used to look at those things and maybe it would make us feel bad about ourselves. And although social media never used to be like that, the point of social media used to be that it was like more of a reality. It is obviously going more that way now. So we have to remind ourselves and teach our children that not everything you see online is, you know, what real life is meant to be like, or you shouldn't compare yourself, and like having some sort of self-confidence is really important if you're gonna be scrolling on social media. I guess that's probably a whole nother topic and question actually, but this question was more about, do I feel like I need to conform and like have Botox? Like at the moment I'm definitely not even thinking about something like Botox, mainly for me because I just feel like once you start something like that, you have to keep it up, because you're never gonna you're not gonna have Botox and then not have it again, because then you'll get used to looking a certain way and then you won't like the way you look. So the fact that it's not like permanent, it's something you have to keep doing. Like I'm only 34, that's a long time to have to do something regularly. I don't really feel like I need it or want it at the moment. I'm you know, never gonna say never, maybe one day, but my mum's never had anything, my grandma's never had anything, and I like the way they have aged. Of course they have lines and wrinkles and saggy skin and I hope my mum doesn't watch this, but you know what I mean. It's all the normal things that you get as you get older, and I think it looks nice and it looks normal, and there are probably lots of people that have work done who you would never notice because the work is so good, and like that's great. But I feel like most of the time you can really tell when someone's had work done, and I don't really like the way it looks, and that kind of defeats the whole point, right? If it's making you not look good. I don't know, I think it's just each to their own. I would be worried that it wouldn't suit me, and I've seen some like terrible Botox before. I've been doing this long enough that I kind of know not to like compare myself online or like judge myself too much when I take pictures or videos. Equally, I've also got to know my like angles that I prefer and how to shoot myself that I feel like confident enough. But like this video, for example, I didn't look in a mirror. I can barely see myself in the viewfinder. I have no idea really what I look like, and I don't really care. The thing that does annoy me though about, I guess, social media and Botox is that if you're selling a product, a skincare product, and you've had loads of Botox that's made your skin look very smooth and plump, I feel like there should be a disclaimer there, because it's like if I were to do a job for a whitening toothpaste and not tell you guys that I've got veneers that are like a set color. I just think it's a bit like shady, isn't it? Like I feel like you should know. You can still love a skincare product and have Botox, but at least give people a heads up that it's not going to make them look like your skin looks because your skin has had Botox. Oh God, this is going to be a rambly video. I hope you guys have time, and whatever you're doing whilst you're listening, I hope it's gonna take a while. Likelihood the podcast will return. I really, really hope so. It was close, guys. We were almost getting there with talks of the next season, and then something's happened on my part, to be fair, that has put a bit of a halt to it, and I don't think it's going to be happening imminently, but I am so desperate for it to. The minute I'm in the position where we can get conversations going again, I really want to do it. I want to do another season. I want to go back to the original format when we're going into people's houses. I really miss it. I miss having that part of my job, and there's so many elements to the podcast that I love, so I really hope it comes back, but I don't think it's going to be as soon as I wanted it to be. Oh, quite a bitter coffee today. I would love to know how you keep your son in a routine whilst having a busy daughter. It's definitely trickier with second kids, but then also they're kind of a bit more relaxed because of it, which makes it a bit easier. I just remember with Gray, like she'd be sleeping in her cot and there'd be like builders or something happening outside, and I would freak out that she's going to wake up, and she'd wake up, and just none of that happens with Rudy. He's way more like adaptable with where he sleeps and stuff. So we do just kind of let him have naps and stuff in the car and in the buggy, which maybe we didn't do as much with Gray because we wanted her to get like a really good long nap. And we are as strict with Rudy in terms of like how much sleep he gets throughout the day, but we're more relaxed if it's like broken up throughout the day. So like Gray used to do like a 2-hour lunchtime nap. With Rudy at the moment, it might change as he grows up. At the moment, like, it's not the end of the world if he falls asleep in the car on the way home, because maybe then in like an hour's time he might have like another little nap in the cot or something. We're just a bit more flexible, but we just try and make sure that he has a certain amount of sleep throughout the day. He needs about an hour in the morning and a couple of hours at lunch, and if that's broken up it doesn't matter, but that will then get him to like a 6:30, 7 bedtime. So as long as he's well fed, he's had enough sleep, it doesn't really matter where it is, as long as he's happy, that's kind of the main thing. If he's upset, if he's grizzly and I know he needs to sleep, we'll just make sure he gets that sleep somehow. And Gray's like a good girl, she'll know if we need to drive or walk for his nap or something. Your children will be going to formal school in a couple of years' time. What do you think of England's education system, and how can you help the children fit in better? What kind of parents will you be, helicopter or protective? I don't know what so many of those words mean. What is a helicopter parent? I mean, I'm assuming a parent that's like constantly watching from above or something like that. Well, I definitely can't comment on England's education system because I haven't been in school for a long time, and I'm hoping a lot has changed since then. I had my own struggles in school, and I really want to try and not put that onto my kids. I would rather think about the things that I struggled with and try and help my kids with those things if I can, rather than like, I don't know, I feel like some parents don't realise your kids pick up on things. If you're really like vocal about like hating homework, then they're gonna start hating homework too. So I'm just gonna try. It's a bit like how I force myself to be like, oh look, a lovely spider, even though I hate spiders, just because I don't want to put that onto them, you know. So I think primary school, especially the younger years, is more about like learning social skills, and from my experience, primary school teachers are amazing, wonderful human beings, and I don't really have any worries there. I hope, and I have no idea if this is a thing, I hope that schools these days, especially secondary schools, offer some kind of support to parents, because I'm not sure if my kids will be the issue. I think I will be the issue, in that I don't know if I'll know how to support them at home and how to help them with their homework. One, because I won't know the answers myself. I'm really, really not academic. And two, like, I still to this day get frustrated that I was never taught how to revise for an exam. So I don't know how I'm going to teach my kids that. Obviously, if there's no support there, it's something I will just take upon myself. I'm sure there's like videos on YouTube, or there's courses that you could take as a parent on how to support your kids. I will speak to friends. In fact, that's something I want to do now. One of my best friends, Hannah, her parents were really good at like sitting her down, doing her homework. She was just like so motivated at school, and I'd love to talk to her dad about like how he did that and what he did to like not have a kid that just dreaded doing their homework, you know? Maybe I'll think about things like not leaving it till a Sunday night, like Saturday mornings. Maybe we make that like homework morning. I think as a parent, the best you can do is care, and that's the best you can do. So as long as I try, that's kind of good enough. That's kind of education wise. With everything else, I'm obviously quite worried about parenting in a social media day and age. I think I've got a lot going for me in that I know how the social media platforms work, because obviously it must be so intimidating as a parent if you don't even know how the platforms work. So that's good. But equally, I'm not sure how I'll be able to kind of not control, but like what my kids do on social media, especially if they're seeing like me do it. Do you know what I mean? I can't tell them they can't go on TikTok if I'm on TikTok. It's gonna be a weird one, and social media bullying and comparisons and all of that does worry me. But I truly believe that I think if you have a lot of support at home and you try and build your kids' self-confidence outside of all of that, then they might be able to cope with the struggles at school, on social media, with all of those different things. That's how I felt about my upbringing. I hated school. I definitely got bullied at times. I was definitely socially awkward and anxious, but as long as my home life was always quite secure and grounding, it kind of gave me the tools to be able to deal with all of those things. I definitely want to make my kids feel like they can come and talk to me about anything. I don't think I spoke to my parents about much stuff. I kind of spoke to friends more, and that's fine, but I would like my kids to be able to come and talk to me about anything and not feel like I'm going to tell them off or embarrass them or, you know, anything like that. Oh my God, another worry of mine, sorry, I'm really opening up now. Drugs. I am really worried about when my kids inevitably probably get to the point where they want to experiment or know about drugs. And guys, I am so vanilla. I mean, I got tattoos, I had boyfriends from a young age, I went out clubbing and drinking when I probably wasn't supposed to, but drugs? Nah, wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. So I know nothing. Guess I'll be doing a course on that as well then. Loved this, Lily. What is your top tip for keeping a marriage or a relationship healthy during the period of time of having young kids? I think it can be quite a tough time when there are so many demands on you both, and I'd love to know your thoughts. Yeah, it is really tricky, and I think a lot of couples really struggle, and we definitely have our moments, but I'm quite impressed actually that we are doing quite well. We try not to have like heated arguments. There's a barking dog outside. We try not to have heated arguments in the moment, especially if the kids are around. And it's not because I don't want the kids hearing us argue. It's just that you can't concentrate on what you're saying. It's all very like heated. There's a lot of emotions flying around. You're distracted. There's a lot of noise. I often then feel like we're ignoring like Gray, who's calling for us or whatever. So if something happens, we very quickly nip it in the bud and we're like, let's talk about this later. And then we don't like sulk all day, you know, just carry on as normal. And then by the time you come to talk about it, like once the kids are in bed, you've had a bit of time to like relax in your emotions and think about things, and you can talk more calmly. I am all for a calm talk. I have no interest in heated, shouty conversations. It's just not gonna be helpful to anyone, is it? So if I can, I really try to just like, if one of us is like that, I just try to diffuse the situation and have a calm chat. Obviously, the obvious answer would be to like spend more time together, but it is really tricky when you have young kids. Me and Rich don't really spend enough time together on our own without the kids because it's just not really logistically possible. But we do spend a lot of time together with the kids, and that for now feels like enough. So we're not constantly like sharing the duties, like he'll be with the kids and then I'm with the kids, because then it just feels like you're like colleagues or something. So as often as we can, we do things together as a family, like on weekends, on days off work or whatever. We try to have like family time and just be really present and like enjoy the kids and chat. And most things we can do with the kids, really. Obviously more fun without. Hopefully we're going away for our anniversary for the night. Fingers crossed, that would be so nice. This is a very broad question, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the direction Instagram seems to be going in and how that affects you both as an influencer and a user of Instagram. By the way, I'm going to start going by digital content creator again, because I think that's actually a better description anyway than influencer. I feel like influencer is more like, you know, ex-Love Island, ex-Towie, whereas like a digital content creator is someone, I guess, who's making content online. And that is what I spend most of my time doing, like brainstorming and creating content. Anyway, sorry, that is a sidetrack. What are my thoughts on the direction that Instagram is going in? I've seen a lot of people talking about this recently because Instagram have had a big update, and obviously over the past year or so, they've definitely been going in this direction. They're feeling a bit more like TikTok. It's very video focused. It's very reel focused. I think there are some people who are really upset by this, and I totally understand why. I think the days of still imagery, still photos on Instagram are kind of gone, and it is sad because I, as much as anyone, love a photo and I love taking them, I love sharing them, but also I love video. And I think most people from my kind of generation of bloggers were not that video focused. A lot of people did come from like blogs and photos, which I did too, but I've always had, if not more of an interest in video. I started YouTube very quickly after my blog, and I've always loved experimenting with videos. For me, for example, like having a videographer at my wedding was like hugely important, and not everyone feels that way. I just feel like video captures like a different emotion, and I find video so engaging. And in terms of shooting video, I find it much more flexible and forgiving. Like with a photo, it's like you get one chance and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's so easy to not be right. Whereas with video, I feel like things can be in and out of focus and it can move, and it's just like feel more free when I'm working with video as a format. Like it feels like I can do so much more. So I've always quite embraced Instagram becoming more video focused. Rich, you're ruining my rant. Hello? Oh, and he had no reception. I've always been quite up for video becoming more of a thing, and I feel like I've kind of come into my own by doing more reels and videos. So I'm not complaining from that side of things, although I do miss like photos. It is a bit disheartening when you post a photo on Instagram and you're like, well, that's not gonna get any sort of engagement. I also kind of miss like long form video. I love this. I love sitting down and chatting on a YouTube video. I love talking about products in a really descriptive way and really explaining to you guys. Whereas I feel like these like short reels and TikToks are making everyone's attention spans way smaller, and everything is just so fleeting. It's just gone, gone, gone. I do worry that brands are going to become less interested in working with these sort of quick videos. It does work really well for some brands, but then as a consumer, sometimes I feel like the point of social media originally was because you wanted to know more about a product than like a one-liner in a magazine, right? Like that's exactly what made us start blogging. You used to open a magazine, it would be like red lipstick, £19, whatever, and then you'd go onto a YouTube channel and that person would be talking in depth about how the lipstick felt, how it lasted, why they love it, why they don't love it, and that's exactly why it worked. And it's almost going like back to that just really quick, like this is what the lipstick looks like on. And I put my hand up to say like I do that too sometimes, because sometimes to make a reel really engaging, it needs that kind of quick, snappy, like fun edit. And I do thrive and enjoy that kind of like, how can I make a reel like really fun to edit kind of process. But then sometimes I think, actually, if I was the consumer here, what would I actually really like to know? I don't know if any of you guys saw my reel recently for O2 Outlet, but that, I was so close to doing this really cool like snappy reel with like fun transitions and when I'm on and off the tube. And then I said to Georgia, who I was shooting it with, I was like, this is not going to explain anything about the outlet to anybody. They're not going to know where it is and what it is. And like, I just don't think anyone's going to know what the hell I'm talking about. So instead I was like, let me just do something where I'm just talking to camera and being really normal, and it worked really well. So I think it depends on the product. Some things need a bit more description, some things need a bit more explaining, and some things, maybe like clothes, can be a bit snappier. I just hope that there remains a mix, because if everything becomes like really quick 15-second videos or whatever, I'm gonna miss like hearing people's voices and getting to know people's personalities. I really relate to this juggling of personal and professional life. You mentioned being present when with the kids, which is something I'm focusing on too. My question is, what are your top tips for making it happen? I don't really have top tips as such. Like being present to me just means like being in the moment. So not like, You know, it's so easy to just like sit and scroll on your phone while your kid's like playing on their own in silence, or like being like, mom, 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 and then you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Literally, your kids are not going to be young for long. Not saying you have to do it all the time. Like, we all need a break. We all need a moment scrolling on our phone. Like, no one is the perfect parent. But every now and again I get like a reality check and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, all she wants is for me to like play ice cream shops with her. So it takes like a bit of like energy to be like, right, okay, I'm ready for you. Let's play ice cream shops, and then just like give them all your time and energy in that moment, whether it's for like 5 minutes or an hour, whatever you can do. I just think they appreciate it so much, and it's so cute. Something I really want to do more of is during meal times, like being able to sit and talk during meal times or read a book or something like that. We need to get better at that. And just like having fun with them. And it's so easy for life to become very like logistical and like, I can't do that right now, I just need to empty the dishwasher. But like, I don't know, I probably could empty the dishwasher later. It's not the end of the world. So just trying to find like little nuggets of like quality time where you're just in the moment with them. It's the same when it comes to like taking photos or videos of your kids. Like, I think we're all guilty of focusing too much on like getting that photo. Actually, sometimes just it's better to just put your phone away and just like actually enjoy the memory with your eyes. And like, sometimes I feel so sorry for kids like having to like pose for a photo rather than actually enjoy the thing that they're meant to be doing. I try and take quite like natural photos. If I'm going to take photos of my kids, I try and just take photos of them whilst they're doing the thing they're doing, rather than making them like stop and like, let me take a photo, say cheese, like, because then they're not getting to actually enjoy the thing, they're just doing it for the photo. Does that make sense? Really wish I had some lip balm up here. Hi Lily, I'd like to know how you feel you've changed as a person in the last few years, especially since having kids. How have you grown? What have you learned? I've been following you for a long time and I've perceived a lot of growth. Thanks for sharing. A lot of people have said that they've seen a change in me recently. And it's probably a mix of loads of things. Like, I think we all struggled a bit during like proper COVID times and lockdown. It just so happened to coincide with like having my first baby for me. Gray was only 1 at the first lockdown. So there was a lot of different things going on there for me. And I think I had just like a 2-year bubble of like, what the hell is going on? So it's a bit of all that. I definitely think since having Rudy, I feel much more like comfortable in myself and more confident. I think, how have I changed? I think I have learned that I don't need to give everything to the internet. That's probably one thing I've changed. I think I used to feel like frustrated that not everyone who followed me online really understood who I am as a person. Of course, by the way, people aren't gonna technically no one who follows me, no offense guys, none of you actually know me, and I think I couldn't get my head around that. And my solution was that I thought I needed to share more. The more I share, the more these people will know that I'm like a good person with a good heart, and I need them to know that I'm not what they think. And I just thought the answer was sharing more. But it's not, because the answer is no one's truly gonna know you unless they actually know you. So I think I kind of reined it in a little bit and thought, actually, I only need to put out on the internet what I want to put out. This is just a little slice of my life and I don't have to share everything. I can keep some stuff back for me. And maybe that is a bit of a regret of mine, actually, from like all the years I've been doing this. I think I kind of did overshare a little bit, and I didn't need to put myself out there like that, because I think that you can be really authentic, and I think you can share your life without having to give everything like I used to do. And I think since I've stopped doing that, I've felt much better about everything. I saw a Harry Styles quote the other day, which said, "Nothing anyone says about you is true." Can't guarantee that was the full quote, but basically what it's saying is that anything negative anyone says about you isn't true, but also anything positive anyone says about you isn't true. And I think when you kind of get your head around that, it all makes sense a little bit. Someone telling me I am a bad person with bad intentions is not true, because that person doesn't know me. Someone saying, "Oh my God, you're the most amazing mum," also not true, because that person doesn't know what I'm like as a mum. I think that's made me feel a bit better, maybe. I don't know. I also think just having your first kid is like such a mind fuck, and it takes you ages to get over that. Do you invest the profits from your business in any way? Currently learning more about this and how women are not investing as much as men. I would be interested to hear your thoughts. It's really interesting about the women-men thing. I would say I'm very like low on the risk-taking scale. I'm like not a gambler. I hate the idea of it. I'm quite a big like saver. I'm not in the position to be like investing in anything. I've always had something to save for. I live in London. I live a very like expensive lifestyle. I wanted to buy a house and renovate a house. Like we've always kind of had something next to save for. Aside from like pensions, insurance, all like boring life things. No, I don't. And one day, if I'm in the position where I have extra money to invest in things, like that would be great, and I'd probably explore it, but I wouldn't do anything risky, because if I had extra money, I'd want to like, it's very important to me to leave money to my kids, and I wouldn't want to like mess about with that and risk them not having it. I love the idea of like investing in property and like renting out, like buying a property, doing it up, renting it out, selling it on, but it's just not really a realistic thing anymore. It used to be such a great thing to do 10 years ago, but too many people do it now, unless you're like really in there with the estate agents, or you like, unless obviously you've got like, you can like buy the property outright with cash. That's different, obviously. Short answer, no, I don't really. Question for your video. I just read your book and I really enjoyed it. Thank you. I felt like it wasn't promoted that much at the time, which was a shame. Why was that? Thanks for being my escape during laundry, washing up, baby feeding, meal prep, etc, etc. Okay, this question comes up time and time and time again, so I've always been too scared to give the answer, because if you tell someone what your worst nightmare is and they really dislike you, they're just gonna do that thing. But surely, how many minutes in? I'm like 40 minutes into this video. Like if someone really, really hates me, I doubt they're gonna be watching this video. So let's just go for it. A week after my book came out, someone totally invaded my privacy more than I ever expected to. I had worked so hard to keep my address, my home address, private. This was meant to be our forever home, the home where we were bringing up children. It was so important to me. That idea was totally shattered when I least expected it, and in the way that I least expected it, and it was something I was unable to control. It was during a really vulnerable time where I'd, you know, just released something. I was really nervous about it. It was all very new. The experience of the whole book thing was a bit bizarre. I have many kind of regrets and things I would do differently now, but that's, you know, that's like a different story. It came at the worst time and I came crashing down. I had to go and have therapy, which is not something I'd ever done before, and it all unraveled that it was all to do with me being kind of a control freak, and that was like probably the first time that I truly felt out of control. Didn't really know how to cope with it. I just wanted everything to stop. I honestly like wouldn't leave my house. No book tours. I didn't want, I mean, sorry, I had to stop filming. There was a noise outside. I shut everything down. I didn't want anything. I couldn't do anything, basically. I couldn't do book tours or book events or anything. And then once that was kind of dealt with and I'd worked my way through it and I'd done as much as I can, it just tainted the whole experience for me. Like even now, like looking at the book, talking about the book, it just brings back the worst feeling inside of me that I just can't even like revisit. Like even though what happened isn't necessarily as big a deal to me now as it was then, it's the whole experience and how I felt at the time that just comes like rushing back to me, and I can't even like let it enter my brain. I can't go back there. It just got put in a box, and it's such a shame that something I worked really hard on got kind of ruined in that way. Oh my god, I learned from it. I grew as a person, like such an important life experience, but it is what it is, and it's I mean, I can't even tell you, like anytime I do an interview or anything, I'm like, can we not talk about the book? Because I can't like go back to that time. I just had to stop. So that in a nutshell is kind of what happened. But I still can't go into like full detail about it because there's so many different reasons, but it's just a shame. But whatever, I don't want that to stop me like working on projects. Do you know what I mean? You can't, not everything you do has to be this like huge success, like, and when I say success, I don't mean in terms of like money or sales, just like whether you feel something is a success or not. Like, you can't stop that working. You can't stop yourself from working on things because you're worried it won't be a success. Like, that's the only way you learn and grow. I'm telling myself this right now because, oh my God, I'm always so nervous about like working on projects or starting new things because I hate like the idea of failing. Do you clean your house yourself or do you have some help? Your house looks clean and tidy. I've got a 4 and 6-year-old and my flat is a mess at all times. First of all, in terms of it looking clean and tidy, I will always try to clear up a space where I'm filming. So right next to me now, I've got a pile of clothes here that you can't see. There's like a mess over there in the corner. So don't be fooled by what you see online in people's photos or videos, because trust me, they've probably got mess around. I do have lovely cleaners that come once a week to clean. That's more to actual clean because it just takes so long to clean a house. So I think if you can afford to, I love our cleaners. And it means that we can spend more time working or being with the kids. The minute they leave, it's a total mess again, but it's just nice once a week to have that like deep clean, have the bathrooms cleaned, you know, all the good stuff. So we clean and tidy throughout the week, but we do have like one proper clean a week. Where to start with finding your style again after having a baby? I remember you going through this after having Gray. I love your style at the moment and have really noticed your confidence fashion-wise after having Rudy. I feel a bit stuck with where to start in terms of trying different things. I feel like my old clothes don't work anymore, but also I feel daggy. I don't think that's the word she meant, in leggings and a hoodie all the time. Loving your content at the moment. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you guys have like lived through it with me, so you've seen like I don't have all the answers. Sometimes you just like are in a rut and you just don't feel very confident and you just don't really know how to get dressed every day, and that's fine. I had a really long period of feeling like that, and I still do sometimes. Today I'm just wearing like an old t-shirt and I don't feel particularly confident in what I'm wearing. You can't have like a good outfit day every day. It's just unrealistic, isn't it? But I would say that just kind of getting to know what works for your body shape and then like going with that. Like if you find a trouser shape that you like, just buy more of that shape and just being willing to try new things. Like I love going into shops and actually trying stuff on, and don't be afraid to try something new. Like if you've seen someone online who wears an oversized linen shirt and you think like, oh, I could never wear that, shirts don't suit me, just go and try it and look at how they're wearing it. Are they wearing it tucked into jeans or are they wearing it baggy with something, baggy trousers? And then go and find something similar and recreate that outfit. Like use Instagram as inspiration. I think that's what's kind of helped me, just being a bit more experimental. But honestly, like at the moment, it's like a weird transition time between summer now and autumn, and I don't really know what to wear most of the time. I'm just like living in dresses, and if it's not a warm day, I don't really know what to wear. So we all go through it. And I think you just have to find that kind of one new piece that makes you feel confident, and then that little bit of extra confidence will kind of just help you go and like maybe find some other bits in your wardrobe that you can pull together for a new outfit. Just keep trying, be kind to yourself, you'll get there. How is Rudy sleeping compared to Gray, and did you have to do any sleep training? If yes, what did you do? He sleeps really well. He does sleep through the night. We're really lucky that both our kids seem to be good sleepers. But like I said, we're quite strict on making sure they get enough sleep throughout the day. I think kids that are overtired when they haven't had enough sleep is just the worst. It means they wake through the night, they don't go to bed nicely. I think having something that they can soothe themselves to sleep is really helpful. Like Rudy does have a dummy. We actually got rid of it when he was 4 months and he just cried all the time when we were in the car. And one day, I think on the way to Anna's, we got stuck in motorway traffic, the sort of like standstill traffic where everyone was like getting out of the car, and he was so hysterical. We just put the dummy back in, and since then it's back in our lives, and you know what, I bloody love it. It's just, I think it's nice for babies to have something to soothe themselves with. So I truly do feel like the dummy helps, and we'll get rid of it when he's older, and that's fine. We also are quite strict on getting our kids to self-settle, as in not putting them down to sleep asleep already, because then they wake up like, oh my god, where am I was just in my mum's arms a minute ago. We tried to encourage him when he was little to put him down awake, and like we would like pat his bum or something to try and get him to fall asleep, and I think that kind of helps. But I don't know, maybe we've just been lucky. Maybe if I have another kid, it won't sleep and then it will serve me right forever saying anything. Hey Lily, I love the video. Question, where do you see yourself or your channel in 5 years? I have no idea. If I'm honest, I have no idea. I have no plan. I think this is an interesting topic for a separate video. So I'm going to make a video called Why I Have Never Started a Brand. I'll come back to you on that one. Can you see any presenting work or beauty, life, fashion segments on TV in your future? I mean, I'd love to do it in terms of like, I feel like it would be a really good experience. I think there's elements I wouldn't like because I'm so used to kind of doing my own thing. I would find it different. Like, it's a bit how like I used to do shoots for brands on their channel, and I would hate that there was like a script, or, you know, they'd want to shoot the same thing 10 times. And I just remember thinking like, every time you shoot this, it's sounding less and less authentic. Like, I'm so much more the type that just likes to just say it, one hit wonder, do it in one go, be really real. Whereas things like TV, it's very like, let's do that one again, but can you go up at the end of the sentence? And it all feels a bit like constructed and like scripted and stuff. So there are elements that I think I wouldn't like, but I also think I do enjoy that. And I do kind of miss doing different things like that as well. Like, I used to kind of go back in the day, brands would often get you to do things like that more, but now they prefer you doing content in your own setting, in your own home and stuff. It's just also making it kind of worth my time. Like, although maybe it might lead to more opportunities in the future, at the beginning, in terms of like using my time wisely, thinking about income and how much time I've got to work throughout the week, juggling kids and stuff, taking a whole day out to do something for TV that maybe isn't very good money or isn't something I'm that excited about, I wouldn't want it to take away from like my other work. I don't know, it's a weird one. It's something we talk about all the time. I don't know, there's a lot that plays into it as well. My short answer is I would totally be up for it if it felt right, if it felt authentic to my audience. That's the thing, I'm not just like any old person that, you know, wants to get into TV and they'll start with children's TV and they'll do this, that and everything. Everything I do, I have to think like, is this authentic to me? Is this right for my audience? So I have to be like a little bit pickier, which I guess makes it harder. What do you do when you find you've run out of patience for your children? Take a deep breath, stand to the side for a minute, have a big gulp of your coffee, and just remember they're children. They show their emotions in different ways. They're not developed enough to be able to express their feelings, and it's just a phase. It's all going to be okay. Why don't you guys have a dog or pets? I know you love your parents' dog, and I think you've said Richard's parents have a dog too. I find it unusual that both you guys and Anna and Mark don't have pets. Maybe that's because I'm American. I don't know if I ever want a dog. But if I were to get a dog, I would definitely wait until my kids are older. I just think it's a lot of responsibility. I'm quite realistic in knowing where my limits are, and I feel stretched at the moment, trying to kind of have a full-time job but working in part-time hours, 2 young kids to feed and look after and keep alive. Like, where would I walk a dog twice a day in that? So I'm just, a lot of people I know who have dogs, it was more of a spontaneous decision, and they love their dog and the dog is a part of the family, but if they'd really taken time to think about it, would they have? I don't know. I just think I know what comes with having a dog. A lot of time walking, a lot of expense for medical care and insurance and stuff. I just don't feel like I have the space for it in my life at the moment. Maybe it's something we will do in the future. But we have busy lives. I think it depends where you live and what lifestyle you live. Like, living in London, we're just like constantly busy and out. And like when we're out on a weekend, Gray often says to us, what are we doing next? And I'm like, yeah, literally, like that represents our life. We're not like, we're just so busy. I don't think it's fair on pets to just be like left at home all the time. And like when you go on holiday, you need to find someone to look after them. It's just like, kids are enough. My question would be, how did you decide to stop showing Gray's face online anymore? I've noticed that you still show Rudy's in video and in photos. Is it just an age thing? People are constantly asking questions about this. It's very, very simple. This purely comes down to safety, I guess. I once went to a shopping centre and I saw a kid and went, oh, I know that kid. And then I realised that it's an influencer who I follow's kid, and he wasn't even with her. He was with, I'm assuming, his grandma. And I felt really weird that I knew exactly who he was and I knew what his name was, and I recognised him, and he had no idea who I was. And I just think as adults, I am aware of strangers. If any of you guys come up to me and say, hi Lily, how are you? I will know straight away if you are someone I know or if you're someone I don't know. And I obviously would assume that if I've never met you that you probably watch my videos, and I'd be very polite and say, hi, so nice to meet you, thanks for watching my videos, la 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 la. Kids don't understand that. So if I put Gray's face all over the internet and she goes out one day without me, she might be with my mum or my dad or my sister, and someone came up and went, hi Gray, she'll think you're a friend, a trusted person. She will have no idea, she doesn't even really understand what I do as a job, and I just don't think that's sensible or safe. So that is purely the reason. The reason why I showed her when she was younger, or why I show Rudy, is because he is never out without us. She was never out without us. But once they get older and they really look like themselves and they go out without their parents, I just think that's the sensible thing to do. That's the only reason. Like, I might show their faces sometimes, but I just don't think it needs to be like a constant thing so that you feel like you really know their face, you know what I mean? I'm about to run out of battery, so I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll be back soon with another one. Bye.